Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennison.
And I'm Ginelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, please visit tableandwellco.com. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, and thank you for joining us again for the Table and Well podcast. This is episode number 14, and we are so glad, as always, that you are with us today. And please feel free to download and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite listening platform. And if you enjoy watching it, again, you can watch us on YouTube at Table and Well Co. So this is our concluding part. This is the last part of our conversation with Lisa and Steve Christensen. And it was a really incredible conversation to have, and I was really honored and glad to be able to bring this to you guys. You could hear it. Again, if you haven't listened to the last three, please do it. Fantastic. Just a lot of little nuggets you don't want to miss. You want to listen and chew on those as much as you can. But today we're going to be discussing just a little bit about how the tools that were experienced and learned at the table have helped them find a new way to do relationship, a different way to do relationship. It's relationships that, and these tools help create deeper and richer connections with the people around them, whether they be in their family or the people that they're attending church with or just community, and how these rhythms and how these tools and experiences have really been what they were looking for to be able to do relationship and to be able to feed into the dreams and desires that they've had in their heart all along that they didn't know they needed, or they didn't understand, or didn't have the tools per se to go out and do it. This brought the how to do what was in their heart to do. And we talk a little bit about that and dig into that, just what's in their heart and what is God speaking to them. And also in this episode, we get their answer to the question that we've really based this entire series on: is the table to me, or the table to you is or has been? And those answers, again, as always, are just great to hear and excited to bring them to you. So I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys listen to the conclusion of our conversation with Lisa and Steve. And their story from the table. Sure. Guys, that's really good. That's awesome. So would love to hear your question, your answer to the question that, that we've talked about, kind of that we've hung this series on, the stories at the table, is the table to me has been. So we'll start with you, Steve. What has the table been to you, whether at our table or other tables maybe that you've been a part of or set up, or, as we talked about, every interaction, how do you say it, Ginelle? Every interaction is a
opportunity to pull up a chair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it been?
I would just say that the table has just been, just life transformative. And it's just so beautiful how God orchestrates things, because, I'm kind of in this place of lane change transition in my life. Mm-hmm. And it's literally like a new chapter. Like God is just opening up a new chapter, and it's like, here's a whole new way to do life. Mm-hmm. And so the table has just really been a new opportunity for me to learn about myself, but also engage with others at a deeper level. And I think also that learning about myself, those tools and skills, that awareness, it's like a reflection. Like I've realized that for myself, but now I know that about other individuals. I know other individuals have these same layers, and and I'm not going to judge those layers, but I know I know this about you. I know that, your rhythms might be, pinging this way because of these different layers in you. Yeah. And I want to hear about that, or I want to know about that. Yeah. So I just think it's just been life transformative. And again, I know deeply that it is God's turning to a new chapter, just because of the other like it, it's like other frequencies that are resonating with the same thing. We wouldn't come to South Carolina and then end up back in California, and it just be dry. It's like I said, there's just other resonance happening
For sure.
that I know that it's God's hand, and it's transformative, and it's beautiful.
Love it. Yeah.
Lisa, how about for you?
I think of two things. The first is really, it's given me the tools that answer the how to create new neural pathways and approaches to relationships that actually kind of transform my experience of other people in the world.
Wow.
So that, I could just think of someone saying, "Oh, well, that's all like nice and good, but I've got a good group of friends. They let me be real. We're real, right? But I would just say taste and see, come to the table at least once, because the tools there help me to find a new way to do relationships that create kind of a depth and high definition and deeper experience of those than I had before. And then the other piece of it is, I think it's the table to me is the how to the dreams of God in my heart, to have a place where you really all are welcome, all are honored, all can come and taste and experience God's love and presence in a way that's approachable. And it's the how. It's kind of that the biggest journey is from kind of knowing to knowing, and and you're knowing in your head and knowing in your heart, and it's just an experience of that.
Yeah, the knowing through experience.
Yeah.
Okay, I just have to ask this because I feel led to, but we've talked in other interactions about table building, and I sense that's part of what you guys are alluding to, is that this sense of we're staying curious about with the Lord about what does this mean just across the earth, and what does it look like to create opportunity like this for others and build tables that others can sit at. I'm just feeling led to ask you guys, what does that look like? Have you had any insight of what this might look like for you? Because we're not the only people who are called to build tables, and we want to make sure that that's understood, that we're doing what the Lord's asking us to do, but we know that the Lord it's his table anyway.
Yeah. Right.
So what does it look like? Do you guys have any insight in how he's asking you to partner to build his table in your area or in your lives?
Well, I mean, literally, we've had the experience with you guys. We walked through further growth with you guys, and I think it's just created a fire in us that in our neighborhood with our families. We're just we're hungry for it. We want to have people come and sit with us. And it's funny, we kind of moved into this new location here, and we needed a table. And so we searched and finally found one, and we found this wonderful old antique table, and it came with 6 or 8 leaves, so it can get really big. So we're like we can have 4, we can have 6, we can have it stretch across the room. We can have as many people as we want, But the idea, like Lisa was saying, all can come, and even we just had an interaction, just the other day at church, and we were just like, let's invite them over. Let's invite them over, not just to have dinner. It's like the meal on the table is the thing to come to, but the connection. It's like, let's have them over, and let's build that connection with them. And then some other individuals that we know from the area that are familiar with Table and Well. We've sat with them a couple times, had dinner with them a couple times, and it's just that cohesiveness is there. It's again, we can sit down and just be like, okay, like, what's your appreciation? Yeah. Where are you at right now? How can we pray for you? Yeah, so we definitely have. I don't want to speak for Lee, so I know. I
kind of put you guys on the spot. Sorry about that.
we just, we just feel like this is the thing to do.
Yeah, love that.
I just think there's building tables, but there's also the table that's been built in our minds and our hearts. And that table goes with us anywhere and everywhere.
Yes. Good.
And I'm super thankful for this example, so that I feel like I know the how to be able to literally take our arms and wrap them around our neighborhood and invite them all in, and for them to be welcome and experience not being alone and being honored. But there's also that piece that, like, we just ended our collab after 12 meetings with just amazing people. And I just feel like the table, with others, you might say goodbye. Like, okay, we went through this class together. We're familiar with each other. And now we're going to walk away. But I just feel like, no, there's a table there. I know I could reach out to them at any point and pull a chair back up to the table at any point. And I hope they'll feel welcome to do the same. So the table is something, like, you can see there is something about sitting around a tangible table and literally breaking bread. But the table is something that lives in my mind and my heart and my experience of who God is from today going forward. And I just think it's what the whole world needs and what I hope leaks out when we go to the grocery store or to wherever, especially waiting in line. Man, if we could bring a table to waiting in line everywhere we go, wow.
Yeah. I think, that would be great. We all need that table in the waiting line.
Yeah, I actually had this image in my head when you were talking about, like, just even when I step out to picture, like, this place setting and an empty chair, and just walking in the world wondering who, Lord, is going to sit at the table today. Like, who is this place setting for that I've set and held time and space for, that I might encounter today? Like, who belongs at the table that doesn't know that they have a seat waiting for them, even just with me.
Yeah.
Which also means with you at your table. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And Lisa, I think you said this in our last lab, was the idea of going from being at the table to being the table. Becoming the table. And that idea of, like Ginelle was saying, and like you were saying, everywhere you go, you bring with you what the table represents, what happens at the table. You are doing that wherever you go, and you're being that. Invitation. In every situation that you can, that the Lord will bring to your attention that needs a table at it. And it's probably most of the ones that we walk into. There needs to be a table there. And I mean, even just think about that too, just I'm just blown away in that whole idea too. Back to Psalm 23, you prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemy. Like, what if we are the embodiment of that table for someone when we walk into a space, that we're prepared to be the table that they need to pull up to, so they can be seen, heard, known, loved, understood, and just be with. I mean, that changes the game. It changes the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of a specific example of just a table meeting that happened in the front yard with Steve and a neighbor, and someone that was carrying some pretty heavy stuff. And in our normal experience of life, if you run into someone carrying heavy stuff, then it's kind of like that person might not reach back out to you quite so much because they don't know what to do with you, don't know how to fix you. And it's like we have this Swiss Army knife, like, okay, just be present.
Yeah.
Don't, with them, just sit with them in the heart. Don't try to fix it. Ask curious questions, like, ask them what they want or how you can, like, what they want from you or not.
Yeah.
What do you want from the group? But we phrase that differently in different conversations.
Yeah.
But
what is it that you need?
Yeah. What do you need?
Yeah.
And even learning how to identify that is a gift too, that is unrealized. That, again, what's so fun, I think, too, about the table, we were talking about the left brain piece, is that we don't teach any of this at the table itself. Like we just do it, and people just get invited into the experience of it, and giving the gift of what do you need, and knowing all the brain science behind that, and the neuro pathways and the maturity skills of being able to identify what you need and ask for it. And that's the invitation you're offering. I love it. It is a Swiss Army knife of you have no idea what all this is doing in your neurobiology, especially if it's not something you've experienced before. But and how most people usually respond to that question the first time around of I don't know. I don't know what I need right now. I'm kind of in shock that somebody's asking and caring enough to even be paying attention.
That I might need something.
Yeah, and want to honor that I have a need here. And so
and I love this too, because it's not it is, God's in the middle of it. The interactions of appreciation and the check-in and what happens at the table. But you can literally anybody, you can pull up a chair. They can pull up a chair and be seen, known, and heard and understood at the table. And you don't, no matter what their preconceived ideas or notions is about Jesus or about Christianity or about our faith or whatever it might be, it's literally just, what can we do for you? What would you need right now? How can I just be present with you? And where else in the world do we ever see that happen?
And knowing that because he lives in me, that invitation to the table is not, I'm not the only one here. You may not know, may not have any value for the one who lives in me, but he's here with you too. And people walk away with that experience, whether they fully understand it or not. And it's a huge gift.
Well, and I think because of the practices and understanding it and how I am transformed, I'm no longer afraid of the enemies at my table or working a million different ways to avoid those enemies. And there's no enemy somebody else can bring to the table that I'm afraid of anymore either.
Really
so those, it's in the presence of the enemies that they're welcome. So I think that's a huge difference. A lot of people are afraid of those things. Or avoid them.
As if that's better. Like how much work have we all done to avoid all of that? As if it's better. As if we actually can. Let's be honest.
Instead of taking the brush and dusting it off, we're like putting the dirt back on the bone. No, let's just cover that back up.
See?
There would be some huge industries going bankrupt if we stopped trying to avoid all those things, all those other things we turn to avoid those enemies.
So good.
Oh.
Well, as always, our time with you guys has been rich.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for just pouring into our lives as well. We really appreciate that.
We've really been blessed by you guys.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
You are
two-way street. Two-way street.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for saying yes to creating the table.
yeah, we had no idea what he was up to.
Mm-hmm.
We had no idea, but it has been incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And we hope others choose in as well. There's much to be had here at the table for all of us.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. To begin your journey to relational health, please go to tableandwellco.com and join our new online community. Or you can sign up for Connections 101, formerly called Community 101. Again, we invite you to join our online community at tableandwellco.com.